Hey everybody, it's Mikel Fair, filmfestivalcircuit.com. Today I'm here not necessarily to talk about film festivals in particular. For those of you that do know me, I'm a film festival director. I've been doing this thing since 2008, and I've been in the film industry since the 90s. And the topic's a little bit different today. Somebody brought to my attention, they were like, have you heard about the new Captain America movie that's coming out? And I was like, yeah, I'm excited. I saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There are some things that I kind of liked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and some things that I didn't. But, it was during COVID when it came out. You're looking for content. I was pretty positive about it. There were some storylines in it that I remember from the comic books as a kid. And I thought, some of those things were pretty well executed. I don't know if you guys remember the storyline from back in the day where Captain America got replaced and the new guy that came in was violent and was making Captain America look bad and ended up taking on the persona of the captain, right? And he ended up taking on that persona and became like a different person and wasn't very well received by the public. I don't know if you guys realize that, but that theme from Captain and the Winter Soldier is from like the late 80s, early 90s. That was good writing from back then. I'm glad they brought that aspect back. Now, the Anthony Mackie Captain America character, I don't remember as much. I didn't follow Captain America that much when I was a teenager. I was just more into X-Men and Wolverine and Punisher and all, a few other comics at the time. I was an avid comic book reader. But I've kept up with Marvel and their movies, and, Marvel does some things good, and they do some things not so good. And what I don't like about a lot of the Marvel films is you can just tell that a lot of the writing doesn't come from anybody that's passionate about the comics or maybe have the connection that I had, where these impressionable memories of these stories, these characters you fall in love with. And I'm a superhero sci-fi, type of person. I've always been into Aliens and Terminator and those type of things. And, comic books, some of the characters and some of the storylines just fell in line with what I liked. And I thought the very first Captain America movie was great. It really brought back a lot of the comic book nostalgia. I caught up on the films. Of course, I watched the Avengers. I watched things coming out. And I'm excited. And then a friend of mine asked me, he's like, hey, Michael, have you checked into like what's going on with Captain America 4? Apparently it's falling apart. Apparently this Anthony Mackie version of it isn't hitting too well. Like, do you have any opinions on it? Have you heard about the budget overruns? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's going on with this movie? And I can tell you right now, what I'm hearing is not very good at all about what's going on with it. I'm going to go over some of those things right now. And hey, if you like this type of content, please like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you'd like to hear. Tell me what you know. You've done some research about Captain America. Some things that are going on with the new movie. Have you been watching? Are you anticipating? Are you dreading it? Whatever. For those of you who don't know, the movie is meant to be similar, grounded. I'm reading some of the notes that I took now. It's got this whole like political thriller vibe, kind of like the way that Winter Soldier did. And the movie takes place at a time jump of the events of Secret Invasion. So Sam Wilson's Captain America character is like returning from a mission from Mexico and apparently has a relationship with the president. So this is basically this whole new movie introducing a storyline into Captain America and the Avengers and this replacement. Anthony Mackie, his character was the Falcon. And I thought that was fantastic. I thought he really, really did that. I'm a big Anthony Mackie fan and a lot of things that he's done, actually. And it was kind of surprising. And I don't know if you saw, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's been out for a few years. But in Falcon Winter Soldier, you had basically the Falcon wings, and then you had the Captain America shield, and you had this cool new outfit. And then you had like Anthony Mackie on the street, like giving a speech about racism in the middle of the whole George Floyd era time. And it was all kind of weird. And I don't know how much I liked like being preached to with this film. I know that was a very different time back then, and the writers obviously started inserting some things and of course going away from the typical Captain America storylines. But hey, this is real life. You can't just have the same actor play Captain America forever. I mean, the same actor played Captain America before him also was like in the Fantastic Four as the Human Torch. So people get old, people move on, people get tired of roles, people get offered other roles. That's Hollywood. been in Hollywood for a long time, so I know that, how the business goes, and even, Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. I mean, that's an anomaly. That's not the rule for somebody who plays the same character for what, 25 years or something, that he's been playing Wolverine. But anyway, I started digging up some things, and these are kind of rumors. I'm going to post some articles on my timeline about where this stuff is coming from and where I'm finding this information. I'm not just fabricating it, but I'm not on set, so I got to tell you that it's kind of like rumors. But when I hear this stuff, as a film festival director, I talk to independent filmmakers all the time, and we have conversations, and there's a lot of independent filmmakers that want to get to where the people who are creating Captain America and creating these huge movies are. And as filmmakers, independent filmmakers are held to such a tight standard when it comes to storyline and production and all these things. And then you read about what's going on with the productions in the mainstream industry, the people with all the money, the people who are supposed to be the experts, the people that are most experienced, and sounds kind of like a disaster to me. And let me just uncover some of the rumors that I've been hearing. First of all, we're not sure what the name is going to be. We've heard Captain America 4, we've heard Brave New World. I believe it's Brave New World, but apparently they've gone through some name changes and stuff. Now, they had some initial test screenings. I found an article about this and a few videos about it. The initial test screenings of the film were very, very low. Okay. I don't know if you've ever been to one of these. One time, I'm based in San Antonio, Texas, but I've been to LA as a tourist. I've also been to LA for work. But going to Hollywood one time, I remember walking down the street, Hollywood Boulevard, and these people pulled me aside and they were like, hey, would you like to watch this movie and give us our feedback? And they even had like the system where you could press down a number, like if it was a part, like a button, if it was a part that you didn't like while you were watching it, you could press down a button if it was something that you really, really liked, and you wouldn't press anything if you were just kind of watching the movie. And it was like a focus group type thing for the film industry to kind of get, what people think. And you want to do these focus groups, with some diversity in them, in age and in race. And you want to make sure that you're kind of getting an eye on, who the customer is and who's responding well, so that when you release the movie, you know where to direct your marketing. Age-old focus group strategy that's been going on forever. And from what I heard, the movie, this is what I read. The initial test screenings scored very low, with the highest score being in the 20s. That's out of 100, by the way. Audiences objected to Captain America lecturing white America to do better, and the movie's perceived woke messaging. Those aren't my words. Those are something I pulled from an article and a video that I'll post. But I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what's going on, but that does not sound good. But it does kind of sound like a continuation of what was happening in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's a lot of people, like I said, they're like me. They're my age. They come from my age demographic, and they are, nostalgia. They're reaching back to these movies, and they're kind of seeing this 2024 remix to everything. And for some people, that puts them off. Now, from what I understand, digging in further, the movie was completed last year. But now they're just going into reshoots. And I don't know if you really realize what we're talking about when it comes to how much money it costs to these research and in these reshoots. In many instances, the reshoots cost as much as the film, because you've got to basically contract these actors to come back. You got to make sure that their schedules are synchronized. And then sometimes when there's too many chefs in the kitchen, you get these writers and stuff that start coming up with these ideas and taking the script in different directions, or trying to go with other storylines. And reshoots are not good. It's one thing to go pick up some B-roll and make sure that when you have an establishing shot of the city of Miami, that you make sure that that establishing shot indeed looks like Miami, right? That's like a B-roll. That's like a small thing. Or, maybe like in The Matrix, when the lady who played the original Oracle, she passed away. And so before they could finish filming the second and third film, so they had to recast the actor. So that, of course, they had to bring back in Neo and Keanu Reeves and all that, and reshoot with the new Oracle character, and then come up with something for the Oracle, to have a reason why her form has changed. I don't know if you remember that from the Matrix trilogy. Those are pretty legit reshoots. Illness, death, sickness, things like that. That's what it's for mainly, or maybe to tweak. But from what I'm hearing about this film, And let me tell you something. I found an article about the budget, and when I heard the number, dude, I was like, "What in the world are they doing?" It looks like they're spending almost like the budget is rumored to be over $200 million for this film. $200 million is a lot of money. I mean, anyone who watched Godzilla -1, what was that, like a $4 million film? And I know it's not on the same scale of these Marvel films, but you're talking about being able to shoot a slate for $200 million. I mean, that's like all in. That's like all your eggs in one basket. That's like putting all your cash in. I mean, that's bizarre. And if you've got a $200 million, and if that figure is calculated with the reshoots or without the reshoots, it doesn't matter. That movie, that money, that budget, that's bonkers, right? You've got to go out and make like 600 million in the theater system just to even break even to do that, which just seems absurd. Let me get back into some of these rumors. So name changes, the test screenings, the movie was completed. They're starting to reshoot. And there was a rumor about, and again, this is unverified, that Anthony Mackie was apparently getting pretty frustrated because there was no script. They weren't shooting off of a script. And there was even one quote that I heard where Anthony Mackie, paraphrasing, was like, "Why can't we just have a script? Why can't we shoot off a script?" And that seems insane to me. Okay. So anyone and everyone in the film industry knows that a film, when it's going right, is the most planned, shot by shot, scene by scene, day by day, most organized plan that you can possibly have, because you've budgeted every day, when you go to, I've only done one film. I was a sound engineer for 15 years on set. I only did one film where the first day of shooting, we started with scene one of probably 15 features I was involved with. You never just start with scene one. You're shooting different scenes of the movie based on the actor's availability and the location that you're shooting in most of the time. So you might shoot scene 2, 7, 9, 25, and 30 just because an actor is in those scenes and it's at a particular location, and that you're trying to maximize that location and do what they call a company move, where you move from one area to another area to finish shooting, right? And I went into all that to say the script, there's literally a position on set called a script supervisor that is monitoring every little change and monitoring, taking notes of the script so that if you have to go back, you can change things. What's the script supervisor doing on a set with no script? I mean, it sounded like from the rumors that, I guess, and maybe they do this to keep some of the script under wraps so it won't leak. But you're not supposed to keep it under wraps from your lead actor. I hope not, your lead actor or actress. So please tell me if that's a common thing. If you have any comments to make about that, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear on Twitter or YouTube. But I imagine that the lead actor kind of needs to know where the movie's going. And I can understand Anthony Mackie's frustration if they're just like, "Hey, let's just do this fight scene. Hey, let's just do this flying scene. Hey, let's just do this." It's almost going to sound like you're wasting your time, right? And Anthony Mackie gets booked, man. He's not just Falcon. He's not just Captain America. He's in other stuff too. And so when you start to have these overruns and call him back, he could be on set for something totally different. The money just keeps going up, up, and up, and up. There were some rumors here about the production team was trying to shoot sequences without a finalized script, with the director instead using a notebook with outlines for fight scenes. What? Like you can't you can't have such a disorganized set that you're just showing up with 100 people crammed into the studio and you just have notes on fight scenes. That sounds bizarre. I guess that's a fix it and post thing. And let's see, as of April 17th, 2024, the rumor is, which was just, according to this video, was maybe 3 weeks ago, the rumor is that they still don't have a final script, with the cast and crew waiting in a hotel for almost 2 weeks trying to figure it out. There's some rumors out there that maybe Anthony Mackie's character, his portrayal of Captain America, maybe it's not testing well with audiences, so they're giving a bigger role to the person that they call Peggy Carter or Captain Carter, who is another character that I don't really remember from the comics, but I'm sure it'll take a little bit of research and you can figure out who Captain Carter is. And so he goes into Anthony Mackie's scheduling conflicts, lack of the script. So, okay. I'll leave it with this. They're saying now this movie might get pushed back to 2025 or 2026, and this is just crazy, man. I mean, can you imagine a film getting pushed back this long? If you're in the theater industry and you own a movie theater and you depend on Hollywood to provide you with content, you just got out of this whole writer strike that just happened, where it delayed production on movies for approximately a year, at least in the United States. They were still shooting in Korea and things like that, shooting Squid Game, stuff like that. But in the United States, a lot of the production just came to a complete halt. And since movies, kick around post sometimes for a couple of years, that's going to cause a gap. That costs people. If you work at a movie theater, if you work concessions, if you're trying to make rent in your, Alamo Draft House or Landmark or something like that, and your slates keep getting pushed back, that's a disaster. I mean, that is a financial disaster for people who depend on these movies to come in. Guardians of the Galaxy was huge. That made money for Marvel for the third straight movie. They've been making money on every single one of them, but they put together a string of baddies. They put together a string of some films that just tanked this year. The Marvels. I didn't even watch the Marvels yet. Just what I heard about it just sounded awful. And I've got to go back and watch some of these films and see what they're doing, but we're headed for another Hollywood disaster. So what can we say here? What is going wrong? Why is this happening? So high level, too many chefs in the kitchen, obviously. And there just doesn't seem like a plan. And again, speaking from the independent filmmaker, I'm a film festival director. Everybody I deal with is dealing with films that are made for, whatever they could scratch together on their credit cards and favors or school projects and free equipment or whatever they could to make movies and send them to film festivals. That's what we do. You're aspiring to go work at something like this and to jump up and work on Captain America, something like this, and show up on set and you've got no script. You've got the lead actor, like I was saying earlier, like you got the lead actor saying, "Hey, we just want a script. I just want to know the direction we're going, and we don't know where we're going." It just sounds cringe to me. This just sounds crazy. And I sincerely hope that Disney, either they get it together or maybe they assign some of these movies to a smaller group or a smaller studio that's more focused, maybe more passionate about the movies to handle great IP like Captain America. You've got the money. You've got a brand that is an international. How long has Captain America been around? At least 50 years, wasn't it? Isn't he a World War II character? Like, this is insane. Like, you've got the IP, you've got the established comic book stories, you've got his cartoon appearances, you have these movies, you have huge actors that have been involved. How do you fumble this? This is 2024. How do you fumble it like this? I just don't understand. I hope they get it together. I hope they wrap it up. I hope they make something that Anthony Mackie can be proud of and he can find his place. Maybe Captain America exactly. Maybe that's not the hero that he needs to be. But if he really wants to be like a patriotic superhero that's kind of new, I think that would be cool. I guess that's up for debate. Some people think it's a race thing to debate this. I don't really see it as a race thing. I think that likable characters are likable characters. Like, dude, you should see the reaction that just came out a few days ago that Wesley Snipes is coming back to reprise his role as Blade, just in like a few small scenes. People are going nuts, man. People love Wesley Snipes in Blade, and he hasn't been in a Blade movie in 15 years? I don't even know when the last Blade movie came out. But the internet lights up for Wesley Snipes and Blade. So I don't think it's just a race thing. It just may be with Anthony Mackie, maybe it just doesn't fit. Maybe just him being Captain America, or maybe his charisma or whatever it is. I always liked Falcon as kind of an edge, man. He was his brother that was like a tough guy, was like going to help Cap. Cap's going to help him. They're going to team up. They're going to bring in their energies together. And I really love the Falcon character, but maybe this just isn't, it's not a good fit, man. Not saying that Captain America has to have a specific race to be Captain America to represent the United States of America. I'm not saying anything like that, but maybe it's just not a good fit. And sometimes it doesn't work. I know that the I don't even know her name, the lead character in the Marvels is not very well received. I mean, she's pretty, but doesn't have a lot of charisma. And I know that she's not a very popular character. And then you look at other characters, like I said, like Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, people love him. I don't know. People get attached to these characters. When I was a kid, man, I was X-Men. I loved Rogue and Phoenix and Wolverine and Cyclops and Colossus and Nightcrawler, and I was a huge X-Men fan. I'm glad that Marvel's doing an X-Men pivot, which is super cool. That there seems to be focusing a lot more on the X-Men and not just the Avengers. Because as a kid, you know, I only bought an Avengers or a Spider-Man comic book if it crossed over with Wolverine or crossed over with a character from another one. It was all X-Men in the 90s, man. And we loved it. The characters were flawed. You know, the women were beautiful, but yet, you know, always in these situations where like Phoenix had so much power she couldn't control it. Great storyline. You know, Rogue had so much power she couldn't control it. You know, great storylines with her, and you know, just really good things for the 90s. I hope they bring back. And but anyway, that's it. That's what I got for Captain America. If you want me to make another video about it, just give me some comments. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me your feedback. And let me see. I'm kind of new to the software here. Let me see what's going on in the chat. If anybody's got any feedback. No one's put anything in chat yet. But I tell you what, tell me any feedback that you have about the whole Captain America story. Are you rooting for this film? Is this something you want to hear more about? Should I give you guys some more updates about what's happening? Let me know. And then any other movies you want to talk about. I'm preparing something. Three Body Problem. I watched that recently, and I have some thoughts about that for sure. I went back and read the first book, listened to the audiobook translation from the Chinese version, and then watched the Netflix version. And I got a lot to talk about Three Body Problem, man, because Hollywood, it's not a disaster, not like this. They didn't destroy it. I'm not saying that. But they definitely remixed it. They definitely remixed it, Three Body Problem. So we'll get into that. So if you haven't watched Three Body Problem on Netflix, check it out, and I'll be jumping on for another screen to do that. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Let me jump off of here, and let me know if you want me to bring you more content like this. So everybody enjoy your day. Take it easy.